Hello everyone, welcome to Card Making Fundamentals. This is the Christmas Joy classroom, and today we're going to create a card using lesson kit number 3. So we are going to jump in. First of all, I want to tell you what you need for creating this card. Your basic supplies: you're going to need a red ink and a green ink. I don't think we're going to need black ink for this card, so we'll set that aside. So your red and your black ink. You're also going to need your stamp set, of course. You are going to need your tape runner, some glue, craft pick we may not use, but it's always nice to have just in case, a jewel picker, and we're going to, from our kit, we're going to need our sequins, and then we're also going to need our stickers. Our stickers that we're going to need, I'm going to sit over here. And then you're also going to need a stamping block or a stamping positioner. For my card today, I'm going to use a stamping positioner, guys. We're going to stamp this larger image, and I think it's going to be easier for me with a stamping positioner. But you don't have to. If you don't have a stamping positioner, you get an acrylic block that's on the larger side. We're going to be stamping the oval here, so you want to make sure your block will fit that oval. Okay, so those are all the supplies that you're going to need, and of course you're going to need a baby wipe. Let's take one out for cleaning our stamp, or if you have a stamp chamois, that will work just fine also. Okay, let's do some stamping. Set everything aside, clear off some space here. We're going to open up lesson kit number 3. Take everything out. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention that for this project you are going to need your 3D die cuts. There is a deer in here, a little stag. We're going to need that for our card, so take that out also, guys. Let's set this aside. Now we are going to go ahead and open up our little embellishment bag. Let's go ahead and take everything out. Makes it easier here. There's bells in there, so don't lose those bells, guys. Let's take out the cardstock that's in there. How about that? There's one that has stitch detail, and then there's these pieces that are almost shaped like your oval. We're going to go ahead and take one of the oval. I give you an extra one just for backup. It's always good to have backup. Now I'm going to tape this down on the inside of my MISTI. It's easier for me to do that. But if you're using an acrylic block, you could actually tape that down on here. It's going to overhang. So whatever you're stamping on, you want to make sure that you have maybe a piece of scratch paper, guys. I'm going to show you. And stamp it on there. Let's take our striped oval. We're going to line it up, and you can see how it overhangs. Line up the inside of the oval. You might need to put your head over at the top. And I think that's going to be good. Okay, we'll pick this up with the lid of the MISTI. We'll move that out of the way. And I think I'm going to have a red stripe. So I'm using Memento rhubarb stock for this. You ink up your stamp, and of course if it's on the block, ink it up. And I'm sorry about the wobbling camera. I'll try and be gentle. There we go. And we'll stamp that one more time. Now you can see I didn't line it up exactly right. So I'm going to do a redo. How about that? It's not so bad. In fact, I don't think it's going to be that noticeable, but we have an extra one, so we might as well do a redo. So to do a redo, I have some tackiness still here. I have to clean off definitely got to clean this off here. Okay, and we'll reline this up. Okay. Let's try it again. We'll ink it up. I think once is good. Better. I think this is better. What do you think? And I'm just going to stamp it once. My ink pad's pretty juicy, so I want to be able to see those stripes. We have an extra one just in case. So this is good to go. And there is, it will overhang. So if you're stamping on some white cardstock, I'll show you. Well, there'll be excess. You know what I mean? You'll stamp outside the lines. So I suggest stamping on a piece of cardstock if you're using an acrylic block. Let's clean this off and put this back. And then we're going to go ahead and take our oval piece. Now, we'll tack. I have to add a little bit of adhesive here. And then for this one, we're going to stamp our sentiment. And this one, we're going to go celebrate the season. Kind of center it, guys, and then it doesn't have to be perfect because it won't line up. Will not line up here. And I'm making sure I have the right sentiment here. And I do. Celebrate the season is it. Let's just center this here. And this one, we're going to ink up with Cottage Ivy, Memento Cottage Ivy. Any green ink that you have would work perfect. This is going to be dark enough, though, to stand out. Lovely. And again, if you want to just stamp it with your acrylic block, you could. Let's clean this one off also. And then that's all the stamping that we're going to do. The stamp set this month is more sentiments than anything. So put that back. Set this aside. Now, this is going to go here, but I'm going to go ahead and add some foam adhesive behind it because I like dimension. And what I'm going to do is cut some thin strips. And we're going to add one to the left. Actually, we're going to add one to the right. We're going to add one to the left. And then one to the top and one to the bottom. You don't want it overhanging, of course. Okay. Remove the release paper. And then, if you have cat hair, you want to remove that. Sorry. And then this is going to go centered. Center it. And your foam tape's going to overhang a bit, but that's okay. And so we have a little bit of a dimensional sentiment. So our sentiment is good to go. Now, let's go ahead and take these elements. We have a piece of white cardstock in our kit. We move this. Let's clear off the desk a little bit and zoom in so you can see a little better. This, where you need our sticker sheet. In the stickers, we'll take our stickers out. There is a Christmas tree. We're going to use the Christmas tree, and we're going to mat our sticker on the white. So we have a white outline. We don't have to trim this one. The last lesson number 2 we trimmed. We don't have to trim with this. We just want a little bit of stability for our sticker. Okay? After we have this done, we're going to go ahead and work on our card base. Let's open up our card base, make sure it opens on the right side. We're going to add some adhesive behind our checkerboard or our black plaid. And my tape runner just took a nosedive. I hope your guys's doesn't do that. I'm going to grab my other one. And this is going to go here. Okay. We're going to go ahead and take our pattern paper and adhere it. It's going to leave a little bit of a border on our card base. The tape run is really sticky, guys, so make sure you have it centered. If there's excess, and you have a eraser that you removes gum, glue gum, like this one, that works really good. Okay. Next we have this piece of pattern paper is going to go about 1 inch up from the bottom. Let's go ahead and adhere that. I want to use the grids on my craft mat. And this is going to go the width of our... Boy, I kind of got my pattern paper crooked a little bit. Okay. I think that looks good. Next, what we're going to do is take our frame and layer our frame right over the top. The frame has foam tape behind it, and it's a little bit tough to get off, but we have a craft pick that will help. So you just remove the release paper. And craft pick helps with this. This foam tape is very thin. It's not very dimensional, but it adds just the right amount of depth. Let's go ahead and place our frame in the center of our card base. Lovely. Okay, now we'll throw this away. We have, what are we going to do next? Let's put our stickers, let's clean up our desk a little bit. Let's go ahead and take our ribbon and tie a bow with it. Kind of adjust the loops. We don't want it too big or too small. I thought this gingham ribbon went perfect with that paper in the back. Just kind of straighten up the loops, and then we'll trim our tails. Okay, let's go ahead and add some foam adhesive behind our oval. Now I'm adding foam adhesive over here. This is our sentiment. When you flip it over, I'm adding it on this side because this side is going to overlap on the frame. So you're going to remove the release paper here, and it's going to overhang on the frame just a little bit. So that's going to help with the stability there. So that's basically what we're going for so far. Now we have a glue dot, a pretty big one. We're going to go ahead and add that behind our bow. It's pretty big, so you might want to use your craft pick and kind of let it squinch up. Add it behind the center of your bow. And then this is going to go right next to your sentiment. Okay. Now we have our deer. Let's take our Christmas tree. We're going to add 2 foam squares behind here. And that finishes off our foam squares, I believe. And then this is going to go up and down in the corner here. We're going to make a collage card again today for this one. We'll remove the release paper off of our stag. We're going to kind of tuck that behind our sentiment here, and then overlapping of the tree. Let's go ahead and take out our little bales here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add some of our pine needles, our gold pine needles. Punch out these holes here. Let's lift up our bow. Add a little bit of glue behind our pine needles. The largest one, let's add that first. Kind of bringing it up towards the tree, overhanging on the frame. Then we'll add our second one. There we go. And then we'll put our bow back. How about that? And I'm going to switch scissors because my bow kind of frayed a little bit and I don't like that. Okay. Now we have all that we have left is you have an extra glue dot. I put that in there in case you wanted to use a glue dot to use it for your pine needles, but we have this little safety pin, weird looking one, but it's perfect to put your bells on. So you just thread your 2 bells through here, and then while it's open, put it through the center of your bow and then close it. I think little details like this just make a card extra special. Okay, and then we need some sequins. Let's add some pretties. You see how the gold is lower corner? We want to add some gold up here. So let's add a few sequins to this card. We'll add one big one and a medium one on the frame. And then how about some small ones? Maybe one small one over here in the corner. I think that's going to work out perfect. Let's add some glue. I tucked it pretty good. Let's go ahead and tuck it. That's big. It's almost the size of a plate. It's a pretty big sequin, but I think it's going to look nice. And then we have this one. Then we have our gold balanced, at least in my eyes. Let's go ahead and put our sequins back in our bag here. Save that for our last lesson. And that finishes off our Celebrate the Season card, guys. Hope you enjoyed my project. I thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you next week for lesson number 4. Have a great day again. Bye-bye.